Hi friends, it's Nancy and welcome to this fourth series, The Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady. That we're doing autumn now. So if you look back in some of my playlists, you'll find Christmas, spring, summer, and this will be our final series. Creating ephemera and elements using pages from Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady. So you've caught the first episode, so you're just in time. And I want to tell you the kinds of things you're going to need. So this is something different I haven't used before, but I have tea bags. So these are, this one kind of still has its folds, so your tea would be like in these little folds, and you know, like this, and then there'd be a string and a little tab and what have you. But when you're done your tea, just open it up, rinse it out, rinse the tea leaves out, and let it dry. And it's a fun texture. Yeah, I think we'll enjoy that. I also have tea dyed tracing paper. So you can find tracing paper at your thrift store. That's the only place I find it. But alternately, if you can't find it there, you can probably get it at Walmart or dollar store or something. And just depending on how long you leave it in the bath, that's how dark it comes out. So some tracing paper or tissue paper is good too. Some tea dyed copy paper, so just like you would use in a regular copy machine or in your printer. And some vintage music paper. And I'm going to put this out there. If you don't have any vintage music paper and you want to get some, I have quite a lot that I am willing to share for free if you'll just compensate me for the postage. And I've got packages ready to go. So for a package of 12 sheets to the US, the postage is about I had it written down someplace, 3 something. Anyway, but once tax is added on, and PayPal charges like 4 or 5%. So I've just been sending PayPal invoices in the amount of $3.75, which is Canadian. So it's far less in American dollars. It's got to be less than $3 anyway. I can ship that off to you, and it will, yeah. So if you're interested in getting some free music paper, it dates to the 1920s. Send me a message on either through Instagram or Etsy. Don't leave a message down below because I don't want your private information to be part of the comments. So Etsy, I'll leave a link, or on my Instagram, which is Wishes and Weeds. You can send me a direct message through there. Okay, so like I said, we are using this book. We've had a lot of chatter recently because I just found a new or another copy of the Country Diary. That these are getting harder to find. There are some available online, but they're pretty pricey. But you know, check secondhand stores, check with check online. I don't think Etsy would be my first go-to to find this book. I think Etsy sellers recognize that this is highly sought after, so the price might reflect that. I have the best luck finding these at like community book sales. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of those going on right now, but yeah. So I paid $3 for this one just last week. Okay, so we are going to be using just keep going back. Okay, so we're going to be using page 122 to 165. I know we used this page in the Christmas journal, and we may or may not have used this page in the summer journal. If you still have it, keep it. This one's just got text on both sides. So anyway, the way I take the pages out is find where the little threads are. So here it's on between page 127 and 128. So I'm just gonna take my knife and pop those threads. Depending on when your copy was printed, the color might be slightly different. Did I miss a thread? Yeah, I missed a thread. Some editions are darker, some are lighter. This one looks pretty standard, medium. And I'm going to take this page out because we definitely would have this page, 134, 135. May or may not have that page. So we're going to turn to this page, 146, 145, 146, and cut those out. This is pretty, eh? With the apples, crab apples. I've got pears growing in my backyard. Now between the signatures, pages have a little bit of glue holding them to the spine, so just be careful as you pull that off. Okay. And here between 163 and 164. Yeah, so this would be a single page because we did use that in our Christmas journal. So I'm just going to remove that so I don't get tempted to use it. And these are attached to December, so we won't be using those either. So we've got quite a few single pages. The woodpecker, these toadstools. Okay. So, over the last couple of projects, we've used all of this not a glossary. I don't even know what to say, what to call it. But all of these words that are in Edith Holden's handwriting, we've used all of these. But if this is your first project, you've still got some of this. So be judicious with it, because it's so great to use that we sometimes ran through it pretty quick. But we also have this other stuff too. So the pages that have handwriting on them are really great backgrounds. So I'll leave that up to you. If you have a new book, you still have these back pages, pull them out, we'll use them. Or save them, whatever works for you. Okay, treasure your book. It has beautiful pictures in here, as you know, and we will come back to it again and again and again. Okay. So we have our single pages. Our double pages. Now there's some pages I want to set aside because they will be used elsewhere. So I want the September, the October, and the November saved. I like to use these for the front of, like, the anchor page of a signature in my journal. I will separate this one because I'll use this acorns one. But these two other ones, the September and the October, put all of these three aside. Do not use those. Okay. What else have we got here? There's the other one. So these two double pages, where the picture goes over both sides across the pages, put these aside because I will also use these intact for the center of signatures in the journal. So we're going to put 145, 146 away, 127, 128 away. So those are the set asides. Okay, 154, 122, 146, 128. That one, get that out of my way. Okay, so what have we got left? This is all text. We have picture, 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 picture. Those are some cool pictures. Okay. So I think what I want to start with start with the acorns and the hazelnuts. So get out your fussy cutting scissors And Fussy cut these out using a like a what's it called? A kiss cut. So not right up against the picture, but just leaving like a fraction of an inch. So I'm terrible with measurements, but let's say a 1/16 of an inch. Okay, take your time. When you're fussy cutting, we turn the paper, not the scissors. Okay. My favorite scissors for this job are not here, but I'll show them to you. So I'm not going to make you watch me cut paper. I will pause the video and then I'll come back and we will talk about what we've got going on and what our project's going to be. Okay? Okay, so we're back with everything we need. I just tripped over my own shoe. Has that ever happened to you? So I fussy cut out the acorns, the Quercus penduculata, and we're going to use page 138. So it has the Robert Louis Stevenson poem on it. I just want to square this up. Now, the length of the page is more or less 9 inches. And I want the width to be about 6, let's say 6 3/4. And of course you can use your trimmer for this job. I prefer my ruler and knife. Okay. So what we're going to make is an envelope. So grab your scoreboard and we're going to be scoring on the side that has the poem. Okay, so the top of the poem is on your right hand side, the signature is on your left hand side. Okay, so the first score I'm going to make is 1 let's do 1.5 inches. And the second score we're going to make is 5.5. Okay. Now I'm going to turn it counterclockwise. So now the top of the poem is at the top. Okay. And I want to score at 1.5 here. And I'm going to score at 6 down here. Okay, so far so good. Just move that out of the road. Now, we're going to cut the corners out. So, here, 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 and here. So you can use your trimmer, you can use scissors. I'm going to use scissors. Now, where you see the like the little ditch here for the score. Oh my goodness. So I want you to cut closest on the not right down the center of the ditch, not the top edge of the ditch, but the center, towards the center of the ditch. Okay? And you're going to do that on all of the corners. So even when we turn it, Okay, so I'm not going to go... Sorry. Okay. So this time we're going to go towards the center. Line towards the center. So I've been organizing my craft room. I sent my, I don't know if you remember or not, my daughter-in-law was supposed to come and visit us at Easter so she could help me organize my craft space. I was moving from my little room in my basement up here to the main floor. And then pandemic happened and she couldn't travel. So, all right. Now, use your corner rounder, and I'm going to use the 1/2-inch corner rounder. And I will be doing all of the corners. So things have gotten bad. So I sent her a picture. And she was horrified. And then my son, he came into the room. We were on, electronic chat, And she showed him the pictures. And I could see his face. He's like, Mom, God. So Andrea said she was on holidays this week. And I said, well, just give me a job. Break it down for me. Break it down into small chunks. And I'll be able to do an assignment. So as soon as I complete one assignment, she gives me a new one. So it's been more than every day. So the first day, I had to clean off this table that's next to me and move my sewing machine to that table. And then I had to move my sewing items to that area so that they were, all together. And that's good. The reason I'm folding this is so that I can get up in here to round this corner. Okay, everything is rounded now. And I hope you see that the poem is on the outside of the envelope and this October and the list of things is on the inside. Now we need a little punch, or a big punch. A circle to make a thumb hole. Oh, that's not a circle. And everything's falling because everything's a mess. I'll use this one, I guess. I have a better one, but I'll use this one because it's what's handy. So this small flap will be underneath, but I want sort of the thumb hole centered. So I'll just put a light pencil mark there so I can make sure that I don't go over into the area. I think I'm going to be okay there. Just gonna... Yeah, I knew that wasn't my favorite one. Okay, now I am going to stitch around the whole thing. If you don't want to stitch, don't stitch. But I'm going to pause so that you don't have to do any shifting. sewing's done. I'm going to ink the edges. I use Gathered Twigs. That's my preferred ink. I know I'm in minority. Most people prefer the vintage photo. Whoops. So I'm just inking up all of the edges. So my mess. Yeah. So yesterday I had reconsidered something I'd done. So I have 3 shelving units. Like they would have been sort of a mid-century teak, you know, Swedish kind of a feel to them. I got them at a yard sale. I got them at the thrift store a couple years ago. So like one piece has a bar in it with a mirror. That's where I have my sewing machine. Another piece has 3 drawers. So initially what we did was to put all of my shipping supplies in the drawers. So then I said to Andrea, you know what? I used to have my sewing machine on an IKEA cart, so I could just pull it back and forth, which didn't work. I said, but now I have an empty IKEA cart. Why don't I move all of my shipping stuff to the IKEA cart? Brilliant, brilliant. So I did that, which freed up these drawers, and they are just to the left of where my sewing machine is. And I said, I'm going to move my fabric into the drawers so that I don't have piles of fabric stacked on top of each other. So what I want to keep is in the drawers. I'm getting rid of some because my style is kind of firming up. So I don't feel like that's there. That's better. And I'm going to do the inside of the big flap because that will be seen when it's open. But I don't need to do any of the other inside bits. Okay? So I'm going to close this. I've got art glitter glue. Now because I don't want the flap to interfere with pulling in stuff in and out, I'm going to put a bead of glue along the top of this edge, and I'm going to do a bead of glue around this edge, and that way it should be pretty solid. Okay. Today, I haven't been given my assignment yet because I'm busy doing this. I had a lot of work to do too. Work. because I was on vacation last week. Okay. Now, got a tea bag. If you don't have a tea bag, you could use any like tea-dyed tracing paper, tissue paper, or anything you like, you know, so that you can still sort of see what's going on below that layer, but it still, you know, gives it some texture. So I'm just going to tear off this long edge and, you know, try to give it some ins and outs. I don't want a straight line. It kind of, and I'm pulling it more than tearing it so that it's got lots of wispies. Because it's like a fabric. It's got fibers. And I've taken another run at it because where the bag was sealed is just ripping sort of like along a perforation. It doesn't look nice, so I just moved it in a scooch, just a scooch. So when I get done this video, I will check in with her and get my assignment today. I think I want to work on the shelves that are in the cabinet next to the one right here, which looks lovely. This going this way is a little harder to tear because just the way the fabric is made. So I'm using a tear ruler. Okay. And I want it to be like this will be closed like this. So I want it, you know, more or less the size of the envelope across, you know, a little less. There we go. And I will ink up the edge. Okay, now just kind of roll it around in your hand if you're going to make a spitball. Not that I ever did. I was a pleasure to have in the classroom. Ask all of my teachers. Okay, now you can just gently brush over it with the ink, and that will sort of highlight some of the crinkles. Okay. Some more crinkles. All right. Now, I'm going to use glue stick. Okay, and then when you put it down, it doesn't have to be square on there. In fact, I kind of like it, you know, a little askew. So that you can see that there's a little purple glue here. This will dry clear and it won't interfere with anything. Okay, now going back to the fussy cut. This long green leaf interferes. So we're going to cut that off. So that it no longer interferes. And my preference, do you see where it has this white area here, a little white area here, little white area here? I would usually use a glass mat, but I don't know where anything is right now. Oh, there it is. There's my glass mat. I'm going to use my glass mat and my X-Acto knife to trim that little smidgy bit out. So I got up very early this morning. It was still dark actually, and plugged away at my files. Then I took a break and hubby and I went out for breakfast. We went to a new place. We've lived here in the Kitchener-Waterloo area for 6 years. And we've got our favorites. And I like going out for breakfast. That's my favorite meal out of the house. And the reason that is because, as you know, I'm cheap. And although evidence would maybe deny this, I'm not a big eater. So if I order a regular adult meal, I end up bringing home 2/3 of it. So I'm just fiddling with that. Okay. I bring home 2/3 of it, and I might eat it, I might not. So going out and paying, a lot of money for like a dinner out, it just feels like a real waste to me. So if I'm going out for breakfast because it's the most inexpensive. I know I'm gonna like it. I mean, who doesn't like eggs and bacon and toast, right? I'm gonna ink around the edge of our fussy cut. Oh, I forgot a step. Oh well, I'll finish doing this and then I'll go back. So I said, let's go someplace else that we haven't been before. So I Googled breakfast and it gave me a couple of options. And so we ended up going to Angie's in Waterloo. And it was really nice. The coffee was good, which is very important to me. And the jam was homemade. The bread for the toast was baked in store. The home fries were really good. And usually I don't like home fries. I usually scrape them off onto my husband's plate. Okay. Now, we're going to be putting this on here and using part of the leaf as to hold the flap down. So I want to reinforce this by just using a scrap of paper that we cut off, and I'm going to glue it on there. And then I'll fussy cut around that and re-ink. That's the step that I didn't do. So we will definitely go there again. Sorry, it's getting away from me. First of September, I can hardly believe it. I hope to be able to see a client for the first time since St. Patrick's Day next week. We have some serious restrictions happening. But I asked our clerk to book me an appointment with a client next week. So I'm kind of excited about that. I miss people. Okay. Just in case. Just in case. Okay. I inked the wrong leaf. Okay, so that's the part that I want to close. I might move this around just a little. So there's going to be a little bit of overhang on all sides. A little bit of the stem, some leaves down here, a little bit of this leaf. but I don't want it too high. It doesn't have to be centered. So just kind of doing some register marks here, which I will erase. Okay. I want to make sure I get a little bit of glue here so that it doesn't snap off at the line there. Haven't heard anything back from the cancer clinic yet. No news is good news, I reckon. I hadn't even thought about it. But people have been asking me. But it's been completely out of my mind. So there's definitely parts of the leaf that has glue on it that doesn't need glue on it. I'll just let those dry. So I'm going to take the flap out and erase those pencil lines. That's good. Now the next bit I want to do is put my lid back on my X-Acto knife before I do myself some home surgery. And I have, this is from the bottom of that page, so I'm going to tear out the word acorns. And give that a little bit of dirt. Just gonna tear another little bit of this tea bag. Well, that's a good tear. Ooh, can you see that? That came up really good. It looks like veins in a leaf. Okay. Just gonna put a little bit of glue there. Hold that in place. That's good. I'm happy about that. And then I'll glue the word on top. I don't have to get crazy about the glue, because I'm going to do a little bit of hand stitching. So I've got some brown thread here. It's like embroidery floss. I don't know that it is embroidery floss. This is what it is. Had it in my stash. I like it. I could use the thread that I used in my sewing machine, but I think this has a little more texture. Let's see if I can get this threaded. All right, come on. We can do it. We did it. Okay. To prevent myself doing injury, I will use my pokey tool. So more or less what I want is to do a couple of little X's. So I'm just poking 4 holes right there. This is, I got this at Michael's a long time ago, and I think the purpose of it is for the dot bullet journals. But it's really good for helping me to get things poked in a way that looks more or less like a sane person did it. But, you know, it might look nicer if the stitches aren't quite so what do you call that? Regular. So maybe I'll do this one. I'm just going to do 3 X's, 3 cross stitches. One more. Whoop. So because this, I've got a couple of strands here, I can just split this apart and do a right over a left and a left over right. So the envelope flap just goes right under the leaf. I'm gonna add a little glue there. I'm trying to get a crack in there, or fold. And just so I don't have any trouble here. Okay, so I'll just let that dry before I close it again. But that is our first project. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're following along. I did want to add one thing. Page 4 from the Edith Holden book. This is actually from winter, but we didn't use it in the winter, in the Christmas journal, so we can use these. So if you still have page 4, pull it out. I don't know that we're going to do a specific project with this, but wouldn't it be fun to have some of these extra leaves that are painted by Edith Holden to decorate the journal and carry the theme throughout? Anyway, take care. Come back again soon. We'll do our next project.